Okay, today we are going to be covering creating reports in CLIPitc. And so we log into ITC, we get to the home page, and then we come over to reports. Keep in mind that there are basically two broad categories of reports in CLIP, and then underneath the first category, there's some subcategories or ways of grouping reports. And the two major ways of doing reports are using the built-in reports to CLIPitc. The other is to create a custom report, which is a report that you create on your own. And regarding those reports that are built in, there are different categories. So you'll notice here we're in the Reports tab, and then you've got Customer Reports, Job Reports, Employee-related reports, Route Sheets, Work Projection Reports, and then Reprint Statements, Custom Reports, and Crew Route. And these are just ways of grouping like reports together. And then you've got, as it says over here on the left, custom reports. You can also access those up here at the top of the screen. And these are the reports you create if one of the built-in reports doesn't suit your needs. You can use the custom reports for that. Okay, with that in mind, let's take a look at the the built-in reports. I'm not going to spend equal time on all of these. Some of them are fairly self-explanatory. Others you might not be clear on what their purpose is, and so we might take a little bit more time to look at those. Also, we're going to cover some features that a lot of the reports have in common, and we'll cover those once, and then you should be equipped to know what that is when you look at other reports. All right, we're going to talk about customer reports, and we'll click on customer list as the first one we want to do. Now, often when you create a report, it gives you this filter pop-up, and you can access it typically within the report should you need to change some of the filter selections. Now, in the filter, you've got, again, sort options, filter options, orientation in this specific report. Now, sort option is just how do you want this sorted? Once you're seeing the report online or you get it exported to QuickBooks or what have you, how do you then want to see the data? So customer name would be alphabetically by customer name, customer number would be numerically based on their customer number, property street would be based on the property street name if you wanted to look at that. So that's a sort option. And again, you will see that this is a common option or common way of filtering based on or sorting the information. Filter options, that is, okay, having decided how we're going to sort this, the customer list. Do I want to include everybody? Do I have some limitations? What are my parameters for producing this report? The filter option may vary from report to report as appropriate. In this case, the filter options are you can choose to include pattern customers or exclude them, and include or exclude on hold customers. And so that's up to you to decide what you want to choose. Orientation is how do you want this to be displayed and printed. Portrait is where it's 8.5 across, 11 inches long. Landscape is the reverse of that. It's 11 inches across and 8.5 inches long. And also, this should probably be nudged up, but another option would be show city, state, zip. Let's go ahead and just hit show report on this. And we've got 2 pages. And up here, notice in the reports a couple things. You've got a little magnifying glass, and so you can zoom in if you choose to. You also have under this download section ways of saving this report. So I can save it as a PDF file, comma delimited, which is kind of a generic database or spreadsheet type of format, an Excel file, etc. So you've got some ways to save this information or export it if you need to, as well as you've got a print icon here. And so that's a customer list. Now let's say I wanted to hit filter, and I wanted to show the city, state, zip, and I'll do it in landscape just to make it look better. So I click show report again, and here it is. And now I can come down the bottom of it here, and I can scroll left to right. So we've got more information on this. And here we've got the city-state zip there. Okay, so that is the customer report, customer list. History report. History report will show you history on an account. And again, you've got options here. Now this screen gives you a customer number range. If you're looking at a specific customer, you can do that based on the customer number. You can show the date range you want, and then again, filter options as far as what you want to show on the report. This report is actually the report that's also used if you want to include the payments that you've received and have entered into CLIP. And we can go in and click on this and just see what we've got on the report. And then you've got detail and summary. So we'll hit show report on this. Okay, so now here are the payments. And we've got the date here. So we got 2 payments from Kevin Quigley, 3/2 and 3/13 for these amounts respectively. And there's a total for each customer as you look at it. So this would give you the payments, and if we want to just see the summary view of it instead of the detail, and come back here, click summary, and show report. And now you've got, this is done strictly in so customer order. We've got Kevin Quigley credits, Brittany Taylor credits. So it's not showing specifically what day those credits came in. You'd have to have the detailed report for that. But that's the history report. And like we said, if you come into the history report, you can also show other information here. If you get a question from your customer as to what you did out in their property in February, you'd be able to generate that report here for that. Source report. Well, before we come into there, let me just remind you. So the source report, we come in under customers here. View more, and in the customer screen it enables you to choose a source for your accounts. How did this customer hear about you? And then this is what will then be you'll draw from in the source report. So back to reports, and those sources you can set up. That list can be edited by you. Now if we wanted to take a look at a sample of this, so we'll go ahead and look at all sources, and we'll look back. I get used to working with other versions of CLIP that allow you to just use some hotkeys to navigate there. Okay, so let's take a look. And expand this a little bit. All right, so now we've got the source here. Okay, this one is without a source. Then under internet search, we got 3 customers and we got this much work. Postcard campaign was this much. And this gives you the ability then to see what your best marketing approaches are, both in terms of the number of accounts that you get as well as the dollar value that those accounts generate for you. So I hope you can see the usefulness of this as you seek to invest your marketing budget for that. Okay, so that's the source report and the sales report. A sales report, if you link to QuickBooks, this could be similar to your item report, except it's set up a little bit differently here. You can do it you can filter by job number, you can do a customer range, again, date range here. And this is something you can export to Excel to look at. But there you've got then the total sales, and you've got the running tally down here at the bottom. Not running, but this actually is for the full report. And if we go to the very last screen in this, we see $4,179 worth of sales for this month. That's the sales report for you. Okay, the next section are job reports. So we click on crew route. And the crew route list basically just gives you a picture of how things are set up. So we'll do all of our crews, we'll look at only active customers, and we'll sort it by crew and route number here. And ascending order, show report. I don't know why this one's so tiny to start with, but just keep hitting that magnifying glass. All right, so here now is crew 1, and then we've got the routing number here, next visit date, frequency. So this gives you kind of a picture of how things are set up within your account, within your customers here. So that's the crew route list. The next report is probably one of the more important reports in CLIP that's available to you and to your company, the job costing report. Now, in order for this report to be of value, there are certain basic things you have to make sure are in place. One is you need to have in each job, except for time and material jobs, the dollar value of that service. Now, in paper service jobs, that's very easy. That's just what you're charging the customer each time you do that service. For jobs that are included in an installment or prepays, you still need to have a dollar value there because you need to know for each visit to, let's say, an installment customer when you do mowing, how much of the general or the overall contract does each mowing visit constitute. So you may have a contract for someone that's $2,500 a month for 8 months out of the year. So that's a $10,000 contract, I think, if my math's correct. And then it allows you to break down, okay, of that, when we're mowing, we're making $150 towards that contract. So having that information in the charge per job field and the job being filled out, again, for everything except time and material types of services. The next thing you need to do is you need to record start and stop times for jobs. That way it will take the time spent on the job, multiply it by the number of crew members, and then divide that into how much you're getting per service, per visit. And then it'll give you as a dollar per hour figure how much you're making for each customer. And then if you know that you need to make $45 an hour, $50 an hour, which is the CLIP Lawn Care goal is $50 an hour, you can measure how each customer is doing. And it helps you avoid the problems of raising everyone's rate 3% every year, and then realize you're not making any more money because your good customers, when they see a price increase, are going to shop around and you may lose them. Your poor customers are going to shop around and you may keep them. So what you would do is you would then say, okay, I need to see who my losing customers actually are. And having seen that, they're the ones whose rates I will increase. And the customers where I'm doing very well, I'm going to keep them. And if they're doing very, very well, let's say you're making $80 an hour on an account, then what you would do is you would send them a gift or something. Okay, so let's take a look at this report. Show history. Look at active customers only. We'll go back to the first of the year. Actually, I want to go back a little farther than that. So we'll go back to October 1st. Through today, all crews, all jobs, all customers, and we'll sort by dollar per hour. And we'll go ahead and hit show report. Okay, let me expand this a little bit. Okay, so here's Steve Lawson. Now in this case, I'm illustrating if you don't have the charge, you can't know how much you're making per hour because you can't divide into 0 for that. So let's skip ahead in this report a couple of pages. All right, so here now we've got Penny Jones, lawn maintenance, budgeted time, actual time. We do have a charge in there. And if there were materials, we'd have a material price. So we made $202.50. We spent 4 hours. And so our average time is $51.18. We also spent 4 hours traveling. And that reduces our overall for this customer to $24. Now you may want to take a look at the visit on the 18th, February 23rd, 2018. That seems like excessive travel time. And perhaps even back on January 8th, that might be excessive travel time. If you edit any of this information in customer history, you will then see a more accurate report for this account next time you run it. All right, so let's scroll ahead a little bit more. All right, so here's Adam Bradley. So here's this job, $542.50, average $50 an hour for the detail service, snow removal, average $295 an hour. Test round one, we averaged $2,600 an hour. So pretty good account here. Must be some information on the previous page that brings that down to $62 an hour. So I hope you see the value of this report is that it will take into account how much time you're spending on the job against the revenue you're making, and then give it to you in a very useful dollar per hour figure for that. Excuse me. Now, one thing just to emphasize is for whatever other benefits CLIP provides for your business about making life easier and work easier, the primary benefit is this. It's being able to see where you're making and losing money for each account, and then making wise business decisions based on that. That's the job costing report. A pre-service notification report. You can set up customers to receive a notification as to what before jobs occur, and those would be listed here. And this is primarily for calling people, because they will automatically be notified by email if you've got the email set up in the account. Let me just see if I've got any upcoming ones. Okay, we'll look up to September. Get data. Nope. So don't have any set up. All right, but if you do, this is where to find them. All right, the next report would be the materials report. This is where you get a list of materials used, and this can be helpful if you need to give a reporting to a state or municipal EPA about chemicals you might use for fertilization or pest control. Likewise, if you wanted to go back and see how much mulch you used in 2017, this report would give that to you if you're tracking mulch in CLIP. That way you can pre-order mulch for 2018, perhaps get a better rate for that. The report's pretty self-explanatory. You would choose the part number you want, and based on the part name here. Quantity, that's just a quantity column, but you can look at for specific quantities, etc. So you just set this, and then you can export it to Excel or to PDF for that. Daily work report. This report shows you what you did on a given day. Now, I don't use this every day, but let me just see if I've got work for March 1st here. Yep, so this is what we did as a company on March 1st. And it is done by crew number here. And it shows, so crew 1 did this. And then I'm not sure what this is. That's interesting. Oh, sales tax. There's no crew associated with that. So this was just to help you, get an overview as to how you did on each property for that day. This, if you used an earlier version of CLIP, this replaces the final list of work done that was created when you did the posting process in CLIP. All right, next are the employee reports, and so you've got efficiency report. Now the employee reports are predicated on your keeping track of their payroll hours, and sometimes the terminology can be a little confusing. So what I'll call that is the time in, time out at the beginning and end of the day. So it's basically their work day. It would be something like 7:30 in the morning until 5 p.m. in the evening or afternoon. That is different than the work times recorded when they're on each job. That's their production hours. So you can call it payroll hours versus production hours, or clock hours versus production hours, for instance. And then what these reports do, the efficiency report, it will say, okay, this employee was paid for 10 hours working, and they had 8 production hours. So the employee was 80% efficient. Now, I have just lousy employee information in here because I usually forget to clock them out for 3 days or a week and a half, and so it's just horrible. So I'm not even going to try to show this to you. But if you've been keeping track of that information, either through the CLIPitc app or manually entering it, then this can be a useful report for you for that. And again, you've got, based on hourly rates, payroll reports, payroll summary. Now, the one thing that's not specifically reflecting or related to those clock hours or payroll hours is the crew route map. And what this enables you to do is to look back and see where a crew was using a combination of the CLIPitc app and the device it's on and Google Maps. That way, if you get a call from Mrs. Smith that your crew is not there on Monday, you could go in, look at the crew number, enters Monday's date, and it will then show you how they traveled and where they stopped throughout the day on Monday. You can set up the app to record every 5 minutes at the most frequently, or not quite that, or longer periods of time. And when they tap on the app, the Start Job button and the End Job button, not only does it timestamp when the job began and finished, but it also geostamps where they were located at the time of punching that button. And so that's the crew route report. Okay, route sheets we looked at when we talked about daily routines the second week in the class. Work projections, this basically gives you the ability to look ahead and see what work is upcoming. And so what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go look at what's on the schedule for next week. If that finishes spinning ever. Here we go. So we're going to do from, and we're going to do the 26th through the 30th. And then you can work on a specific crew, but we'll just check out Steve's maintenance crew. And we'll do job 1 for lawn maintenance. And then all my customers. And so I'll hit show report. All right, so there's 6 pages loaded. I'm going to expand this a little bit. And so it's breaking them out page by page here. Or crew by crew, sorry. So here's what crew 1 has coming up for, well actually, I'm sorry, we're just doing it it breaks out by day of the week, or date. So this is Monday the 26th, and then we look ahead to get the 27th, the 28th, 29th, 30th, and nothing on so I guess I've got a blank page there at the end. All right, so this is work projections. This is looking ahead. Now, as you look at this, it's got some, the use for it are, you've got the total revenue that the crew is going to do that day. You've got the man hours budgeted for that day. And notice it's showing you where you don't have information set up here. And so that's make a note of that and go into those accounts to see what man hours are there. And then having seen the man hours, what you're able to do is you can then come in and just you can see the man hours, and then you know how many people they have on a crew on a given day. So if you generally run 3-man crews and they've got 15 and a half hours worth of work, you can pull a guy off the crew and put him to work doing something else for that day. So that is the work projections report for you. And let's see, so we come back and we're looking at so jobs up. Let me cancel this. I'll wait till this finishes loading and then cancel it. All right, so then you've got summaries, detail of the material needed. That way, if you've got work on the schedule for next week and you need to know how much mulch you need, you can do a projections of your mulch services and make sure you've got enough available on hand for future use. A revenue report, again, can show you projected revenue for a given time period. Okay, reprint statements. That's if you bill out of CLIP, you can reprint the statements from any of the billing periods, and that way you're able to, if a customer calls you and says, "Hey, I lost my statement," and you don't want to send them an invoice, which you could do out of customer history, you can go in and reprint the statement for that customer. And then crew route list. We can look at that real quick. Oh, this is crew route mapping. So it's so again, this is what we were looking at earlier under the crew route map here. All right, so that's crew route. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is custom reports. As I mentioned, custom reports are reports that you can create that do not reflect the built-in reports. And this can be a mailing list, for instance, and so let me go ahead and I'm going to delete this view just to show you. Because a question that comes up is how do you get a list of email addresses from your accounts? All right, so we're here under Reports, Custom Reports, and I want to click Add View here. So now I give it a name. So I'm going to say emails, and this will be 3.22.18. Now you've got 4 databases to choose from. That is 4 different places from within the CLIPItc information that you can include. For emails, basically you just need the customer only. But you could choose customer and job or customer and history because those will always include the customer fields. The other option is job only. So we're going to choose customer only here. All right. Seems to be frozen. There we go. Okay. All right, not sure why this is slowed down all of a sudden. Okay, so we got emails. Now, what do we want to include on this? Well, we may want the account number here. And so you just select. This is a list then of the fields that are available for the report. Now, if you're trying to create a report and you don't see a field that you need, let us know because we're adding to this list as we get requests for it. Rather than just dumping every single field from the database here to clutter the list, we try to make sure we're including the most important fields for the user. So we've got the customer account. You might want the here, so let me do this. Now, one thing is it's difficult to manipulate the order in which these come out, so you should probably think in terms of the order of what you want. So we want the account number, last name, and then we come back up here and choose email for that. So now we've got, oops, all right, that's weird. First name and greeting. Okay, let me just select this and we can remove it from the report. Okay, so now I've got that, and so what I do next is I'm going to choose my filters. That is, okay, of these accounts, who do I want? Now in this case I want everybody. So what I'm going to do is do customer account number is greater than 0. And that will give me all of my accounts. So then I tab out of there and I hit save. And then I come here and I've got emails 322.18 and process. So now I've got my account number, last name, customer emails for this. Now if you click on the column heading, oops, nothing's, oh, to sort by the, I'm sorry, to grab the column heading, pull it up here, and now it is sorting it, but it's doing it from, oh, hold on, Let me go here. Alright, so it's not letting me sort it from more, it's only one direction. Well, what you're able to do then is you click Export to Excel. And we've got downloads here, so I'm going to do emails 3.22.18. Save. So now it's downloaded that. And I click on the download. Now it's going to open up Excel with the information. Now this might take a moment apparently. Click on it again. Okay, now it says opening. Should hear Jeopardy music in the background. Okay, here we go. All right, we're just still waiting. Okay, here we go. All right, that's what I get for being trigger happy. Close this. I'll pull up as read only. And if you've not done so before, Clip will actually do a mail merge between clipping and Word for you. All right, so let me. All right, so here we've got the Excel sheet here. And then we can come in, sort all. We go to data here. And we can do sort. I want to sort by the email. Hit OK. So now we've got all of our emails here. And if you want to do an email, you can just select this column. You can come down and you can delete all those records that don't have emails from the Excel spreadsheet just to clean things up a little bit. Then delete, and there you go with your emails. So that's how you can export to Excel, and then by copying the emails, you can then paste them into the email that you're sending out to customers. Okay, let's do one more report and illustrate then the mail merge feature too. All right, so I'm going to come in and hit Add View. And we're going to just call this a mailing list. Mailing list 322.18. And now again, we want to be wise as to how we put these over. So we're going to go with first name here. And then last name. And come up to the billing name. So we go billing address, city, state. I don't have a zip here, so I'll come down to, well, here we go, zip code. Okay, there we go for that. And then I'm going to do greetings here. Okay, so now I've got that, but I want to do something a little more finessed with this. I want to do it just for my mowing customers. So I'm going to come down here and choose job number and job name. All right, so now I've got billing or customer information, job information. So I'm going to also do customer status is active plus. And so I'm going to add another condition, and this one's going to be job number is 1. I'm going to do another, and it's going to be job status is active. All right, so now here are my choices. I'm going to save this. While that's saving, let me open up Word. I'm going to come back here, go to our list. Mailing list 32218. Hit process. All right, so here's my mailing list. I'm going to export it to Excel. I'm not going to keep clicking on it. So, Mo mailing 3.22.18. Now while that's downloading, I'm going to come into the Word here and do blank documents. All right, so I can date this March. Here is your quote for mowing for 2018. Please let me know if you have any questions. All right. Okay. All right, so now we have our nice little Word document here. Let me save this so I can link to it easily enough. All right, then we have documents here. Okay. All right. Now we come into our Excel sheet. So here's our Excel sheet. We're going to enable editing here. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do the price. So let me come back out here, go back into ITC and add a field. So I'm going to come in here to edit view. And I'm going to come down. Choose job charge. Okay. All right, so now I save and I rerun it. Now notice that if you've like we just did, I wanted to now include the charge on the letter. And so it's very easy to go in and add that field. And now when I hit process, and export to Excel. Oh, crumb, sorry. Forgot to change the report. It always defaults to the top report. So mailing list, process. Okay, so here it is. Export to Excel again. We're going to do mowing mailing 322, so use the same name. Now, if you've never done a mail merge, it's really kind of a cool thing. And I would encourage you to take some time. Microsoft has some good helps in their tutorial section. Okay, so we've got customer, first name, last name, member sense. Don't know how that crept in there, but we're going to get rid of it. So we got billing address, billing name, billing city, state, billing zip, greeting, job number. Okay. All right, so this is kind of what we got here. So let me save this too, because I got to find it. So save as. Save this in documents too. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to move forward. So we've got our Word document here, and I'm going to come up here to mailings. And this takes me into the mail merge section for this. And I want to select recipients here. And I'm going to use an existing list. And my existing list is my document here that is called where did I save that? I thought I saved it in documents. Oh, let me see under downloads. Oh, here we go. So Mo mailing, open. Okay. Alright, so again, I come up here, I'm under mailings, and I want to insert merge field. So right here, I'm going to do first name, last name, and we want billing address. And city, state, and zip. And then come in here and do spaces, or in a comma is necessary. Okay, now here's your quote for mowing for 2018. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Excel here. And so I've got the job charge here. And we cut 32 times. So I'm going to put number of cuts there. And then we're going to do a formula. So I do equals, and I click on this column, and use times this. So now we're going to see we've got 1,440 cuts here. Let me just, yeah, here we go. So I'm going to go down and apply the number of cuts to the entire spreadsheet. And this actually should be $35 there, so I can correct some data errors in this regard. So this is going to be $100, and scroll up. It's going to be 50. All right, and then just come over here and do the same thing. So we're going to pull that down. And this applies that formula now to every record. And if we just wanted to be curious as to how much this all adds up to, we hit the sum. And we're going to do 128,000 in mowing. Okay, so what we're going to do next is save this. And I'm going to do a couple other things. This column is highlighted. I'm going to make that a dollar column. So that would be okay, where's the dollars? Oops, that's not it. Sorry, I'm just still. Oh, there we go. Sorry. All right, so now we got that as dollars, and we can do this as dollars too. Save it again. Now back to my letter. Price per cut. Number of visits. You could put this in a table if you wanted to. Total for 2018. All right, so now we go to price per cut. And we say mailings, insert merge field, job charge. Okay, let me try something because it's not giving me my saved list. So let me try it again. Alright, so I'm sorry. Oh, they don't have a heading here. That may be the explanation. Number of cuts and total. Now let's see how that looks. I may have to reconnect it again. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna close this, come back out here, mailings, select recipients, use existing list. And again, this is why you want to do things right the first time. Alright, it's not giving me that number. Okay, so I will need to figure that out. But let me just show you how this would work. So I hit preview results. So here's John Smith. Let me just scroll ahead. Okay. All right, so we can clean this up a little bit. So we come in here, and yes, you do want a space between last name and first name here. Oops. And then mailings, preview results. And then in any given case, you can come in and edit it. And hit undo if you make a mistake. And so this is now you can scroll through here and check out each one. And again, what you can do is you can have then the other fields from that, which I should go back and kind of start over again with this, I imagine, to get that correct. But I hope that I showed you enough that you're able to work on that yourself. Okay, well that is pretty much the class as far as how to do reports out of CLIP. And if you do have questions about custom reports or some of the other classes or the results you're getting, feel free to email support@clip.com. You can also email me at billc@clip.com. So thank you very much for participating today. I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.